RoughRiders in San Antonio Missions here from Wolves Stadium, and our guest on the pregame show is Carlos Olivas. And Carlos, first question I got to ask you is, how is the addition coming to your home out in New Mexico for the trophies that you keep picking up here as the athletic trainer of the year? How's that coming along? Is that going to be done by the time you get back after the season?
We got a new little room in the training room, and I put some stuff up there on the wall, so I got my last 2 years trophies up there. So when all these guys come in, they can see them and kind of show off what I've been doing around here the last few years.
Congratulations. For those that don't know, Carlos was the 2012 and 2013 Athletic Trainer of the Year in the Texas League. Congratulations, a belated congratulations on that. What did it mean to win it in your second straight year last year to you?
It's awesome. It was a shock to me the first time, so to win it a second time, it's just being recognized by your peers, but saying that they're good at what you do and they appreciate what you do for them when they come to your city. So it's good to be recognized.
What would you say are the attributes of a good trainer, not necessarily talking about yourself, but what makes an athletic trainer good at what he does?
From a visiting team standpoint, I would say just having doctors available. The other day when we were playing Midland, they had one of their guys need stitches during the course of the game, and our doctor came out and did it there at the field. So it's nice as a visiting team where you don't have to take a player to the emergency room and wait for all that. I'm sure people have been to emergency rooms, they know how long that can be. So having just availability of doctors, facilities, if you need anything, the other guy having the willingness to lend you what you need, just coming over and communicating. It's just a combination of things.
And from the perspective of taking care of your own players?
Developing a relationship with them to get them to trust you is one big thing. You see it a lot, like when we got Jake Thompson here. When he gets here, he doesn't know anybody. He's real new, kind of hesitant around everybody. You never know what kind of medical staffs guys have had in the past, and just getting guys to know that you're looking out for them. And I'm not trying to take them out of games. I'm trying to keep them in games. So once you can develop that relationship with the player, it helps a lot.
You brought up Jake, and he was one person I wanted to ask you about. When you have a player come over to the organization who's completely new, and I'm not specifically talking about Jake's case or things that may be specific to him, but when you do have a new player come in that there's absolutely no history with, is it just about the one-on-one talking with him? Does it come from higher up in the organization? Do maybe you reach out to somebody that you know in the other organization to get some background on him? How do you go about finding out the things that you need to find out with a new player?
It's a combination of things. A lot of it's just talking to him. We have a detailed record-keeping system that all the teams are on board with. So when he comes over, his file comes over with him, so you can look at his medical history and see things he's had in the past, see the types of treatments he's done. And like I said, you don't know what other guys have done, so you talk to him, and he's the best guy to tell you what's going on with him. And then when they're new guys like that, we'll have a doctor take a look at them, and so they get kind of a history from them too. It's just a combination of those things.
Are you plugged into the medical situations with every player in the system, or is it just the fact that there's the reports that exist out there you have access to, and when you need to know something about a guy who maybe gets promoted or sent from another place in the organization, that you know exactly what you need to know?
That's the communication between me and the athletic trainers with the other teams. The way the system works, it's all web-based, and so we just have access to our own team, so we don't get their file until they're actually on our roster. So we'll talk to the other trainers with the other teams, and they'll fill us in on what's going on, if they do regular treatments, if it's a starting pitcher, their routine before they go out and pitch, and kind of just a little bit of background. And then when they come, you just talk to them, and they let you know what they want to do.
It always seems like there's new opinions and new developments that happen in the field. How important is it for you to stay on top of those changes so you know the best way to possibly treat somebody's injury, or be able to have a conversation with somebody higher up and say, hey, maybe we need to change some things?
That's key. The medical field is always expanding, and we're required to do continuing education. So we do that stuff every year, conferences as a whole group with other baseball athletic trainers, and and the talking that I said when the visiting team comes in, see what they're doing. The Astros seems to have been good on elbow injuries, and so I talked to their athletic trainer and asked him, well, what do you guys do? How do you keep those things down? And that's one unique thing that we have with the other teams, is maybe managers and pitching coaches and hitting coaches don't so much talk to the other guys as much as we do, because we're all towards a common goal, trying to keep players healthy. So it's it's trying to just pick the brains of everyone and get the best thing you can come up with.
We're here with the back-to-back, two-time defending Athletic Trainer of the Year in the Texas League, Carlos Olivas. Carlos, how has this year been for you? There haven't been too many stints on the disabled list. Has it been a little bit of an easier season for you with regard to the day-to-day with these players?
This is my 4th year in Frisco, so you kind of develop a routine in your cities and in your home city, and that kind of makes everything easier too on these guys that I know what I'm doing, so it's not like we're coming to some place and it's my first time being there and just having the time to be able to go through things with these guys. And a lot of it is Eric McMahon, the strength coach. We work together, and he does a lot of the preventive stuff as far as their weight room and conditioning goes, so having him is huge on keeping a lot of these guys healthy.
If a young person were to come up to you and say, hey, this is a field that I'm interested in getting into, what is some of the advice that you give to them, things that they should be studying or looking out for, experiences they should try to get in order to become an athletic trainer at a high level?
Just interning with different places and seeing different environments, because you can learn a lot of stuff in books, and I'm sure it's like this with everything, but when you actually get out on the field and practice it, sometimes it's not exactly the way you think it's going to be when you're studying it. So the interns I have, that's what I tell them: just watch, ask questions if you're wondering why we do stuff, and if they're questioning, maybe they read about how to do one thing and I'm doing something different. Well, why are you doing it? And everything we do, it's for a reason. So that's what I would recommend, is just see what you can see and ask a lot of questions.
Yeah, you've had some interns over the course of the season who have tried to pick up some things for you. How valuable were your internships? I believe you interned with Atlanta and with Tampa Bay a little bit more than a decade ago. What were those experiences for you like? And I wasn't trying to age you there, but just give some context.
They were good because when I decided I kind of wanted to do baseball, so I got to see the way Tampa did things. I got to see the way Atlanta did things, and then I also did one with the AAA team for the Dodgers, so I got to see how they did things. And one of the guys, he would always tell players, "I don't know why it works, it just does," and that's sometimes what it is. Like, something works, and why mess with it?
When you first got to those places, you hadn't been in sports very long. Were you a little bit starstruck at being around some of the major league players? And is that something you got over pretty quickly?
No, I was definitely starstruck. The Braves was the first one I did, and it was in spring training. So that was when that whole John Rocker incident came out. And so there was tons of media out there, and Greg Maddux was over there in Atlanta. And it was crazy seeing all these guys. You watch them on TV, and then now you're sitting there with them, Chipper Jones walking by. It was pretty awesome. And then with Tampa, it was an instructional league. That was when Josh Hamilton was there, and Carl Crawford, and some of those other guys that were down there. So it's pretty cool.
I know for the long-term goal for you, you want to be a trainer at the highest level. Everybody wants to get to the highest level of their craft. So how do you get there? Is the next step going up to AAA, waiting for a spot to open up, staying with the organization and just putting in your dues? Is that generally how it works in the athletic trainer world?
Basically, it's like the players. You got to move up through the levels, and the guys that are ahead of you have been there longer. So everyone's, like you said, trying to get to the common goal, and you'd like it to be with the organization you're with, but you never know. Things happen and opportunities come up in other places, and you just sit back and hope for the best.
Well, Carlos, we look forward to seeing the pictures of the big room with, where those trophies go, maybe the spot for the 2014 trophy at the end of the season. In all seriousness, congratulations and best of luck here to you at the end of the season, and thanks so much for the time.
Thank you. I always appreciate it, Alex.
That's Carlos Olivas, the back-to-back two-time Athletic Trainer of the Year in the Texas League. We're back right after this here on the Frisco RoughRiders Baseball Network. RoughRiders in